Hey guys, this is Gemini. I'm doing some replay analysis. Right now, I opened up a thread on reddit.com/r/allthingsprotoss, and I asked people to do post some of their replays, and I'm going to be doing some analysis of them. Felt like doing some more content for YouTube and stuff, so this is what I'm deciding to do. So I'll post a weekly thread every week, and you can just post them there. I guess I can just link the subreddit down there in the description or whatever. And so yeah, and I'll make a video and then post a comment reply to your link with your replay and everything, and then I'll so that you can see it right away. So first one I'm gonna do is this one submitted by Uzman. Looks like it's a friendly match, but it's PvT. And so let's just go right into it. So usually you want to be doing like a 1 gate expand of some sort with a mothership core in PvT, so that way you can just play nice and greedy, get all your tech and upgrades pretty quickly without having to worry about all that much shenanigans from the Terran. So the Terran's doing normal racks and gas opening. And let's see, Uzman is going to be going for what looks like a 1 gate expand. He's not getting a second gas. He's not getting any units right away. And he's getting his mothership core first, so that's good. So this is perfect. Guessing he's going to get warp gate when he can. Yep. And then that nexus, so that's perfect. And we're going up against a Reaper, it seems like. So he's getting a Stalker out as well, so that's perfect. Looks like his probe got denied over there. Let's see. Let's go back real quick. Make sure there was a probe and not something else. Yeah, it was. So he gets in here. Let's see. What does he see? Does he see that factory? He does. Okay. So you should definitely try to save this. He saw the reactor going down, and he sees the factory. Really, there's no reason to try to harass this. Like there's going to be units out right now, so he really should just be trying to save that instead of losing it right there. It's a little sloppy and unnecessary. But he saw good information. He knows exactly what's coming at him. So this Reaper is going to come up here and get no kills. Always got to make sure you're following that. Don't want to try to get that or let it get away. You want to kill that as soon as possible, because it could always pop back and get some annoying harassment done later on in the game when you don't think about a Reaper coming into your base. So he's going to do a standard follow-up with 3 gateways and a robo, getting 1 forge, also kind of early. That's a little interesting. Losing a probe. I think that's the only thing he lost this game, though, so that's actually pretty good. So Terran's doing something pretty normal. He's just doing a Widowmine drop with a reactor expand. And let's see. Uzman he's got this 1 forge. He hasn't quite done anything with it yet. That's a little unnecessary. Well, now he's getting a cannon. I don't really see a reason for this cannon right now. We have an observer out. We're going to be sending that over, I would assume. He doesn't have one over here yet, so this is his first observer, so this should be getting sent out right away. And since we have the robo, cannons aren't really necessary. It's pretty redundant and kind of a waste of minerals at this point. We could just be getting +1 armor, which it looks like he's about to since he's highlighting it. But yeah, I don't see cannons as being too necessary at this point, because we can just get a couple observers out. And we have overcharge, we have stalkers, we actually have almost 2 overcharges. And we have stalkers, so yeah. I don't really see a reason to get any cannons this early. And yeah, we're not even starting +1 yet. So kind of need that. So Terran's going to try to do a little bit of pressure. Where'd that observer go? It's just staying with his army. Yeah, he's not even scouting at all. you really need to be seeing what the other player's doing. Even though you kind of saw what they were doing with the barracks and the factory. I'm going to stop here just so this doesn't get in our way. You still need to know exactly what they're doing, because they could be doing something like this where they're doing a drop. They could be still on one base, because he didn't see... Usman did not see a command center at all, so he could still be on one base. You need to know if they're on one, or you need to know if they expanded or not. Just because then it completely changes the game plan. Like if this was an all-in off one base and you held it, then you know you're in the perfect position just to go ahead and attack. And if you don't like hold it off well, you just kind of trade. Then you know you should stay back a little bit and not try to just like bullet down the front or anything. So this Widow Mine drop's gonna go down. Is it gonna? How many probes is it gonna get? Only one, so that's good. That was good control there. And he's going to be able to just kind of go right along there. He's got an observer with his army, which is good. There's the second one over there. And now here comes this attack. Some decent force fields. Got to target that Widow Mine. That's hugely important. And also losing Mothership cores a little bit. It's not exactly good. So, I'm pretty sure he could have targeted that. Yeah, he definitely could have targeted that. That was definitely a possibility there. Luckily, it doesn't get that many kills either, but still, you want to be targeting that right away. These force fields were good, though, and the overcharge was good. Send pros back to mining ASAP, and there we go, we hold it. Alright, so it's pretty good, but behind this, we currently have nothing going. Our probe count is at 36. It could be a lot higher at this point, especially since our chronos are really high. We should be chronoing probes non-stop. We haven't started +1 armor yet. Oops, I just hit back. Welcome back to replays. Alright, so our robo bay is also quite late. We should be getting that right after the first observer, if not before then. We need splash damage to be able to deal with any sort of big bio balls that Terran will be making. Second cannon is also very redundant, especially since it's not really covering that much extra territory. So it's just another waste of 150 minerals, really. Extra gateways, I feel, are not necessary as well. He should really be focusing on chrono boosting probes non-stop. Yeah. Should be chrono boosting probes, and then we should be getting a third as well, because that was the Terran's like aggression for the early game. He can't really do that much to follow it up with, especially since he didn't really do that much damage. He killed a mothership core and I think 2 probes or something like that with the Widow Mine. So he's not going to be able to really, and he lost a lot actually. He lost the Widow Mine, a lot of Marines. So he's not really going to be able to do anything else after that. And where's the observer? The observer wasn't even looking at it at his base either. But you should be able to infer that he's not going to be able to do much after his aggression, so you can just take a third fairly quickly. These 2 extra gateways aren't quite necessary yet. Should be getting range as quickly as we could as well. If we were using the observer earlier on as well, we could see that he's just kind of sitting back and not doing anything, and everything would be super fine and dandy. And we could be taking a third. Third cannon, also unnecessary at this point. Since we're still on 2 base, there's not really much surface area to defend, so we could just use stalkers and overcharge for the most part to deal with any sort of aggression. Once we get into 3 bases, then you can start putting cannons and high templars around. But until then, it's a little unnecessary. Still don't have Colossus range, but we are continuing to get. Actually, this is still the first one. Let's just speed up a little bit since something's really happening. Let's see, how many observers do we have? We have 2. We have 1 with our army, which isn't doing that much since we do have cannons. So there definitely should be 1 where this drop is going right now. We need at least something scouting for drops, even if it's a pylon like right here or right here. This isn't really going to see that much though, but we definitely need something that's seeing this area, because right now this is going to be quite burdensome. So drop goes down. Stim up. Actually deals with that quite well. Force fields are very nicely to put. and it's actually not going to do that much damage, but still, we should be having some sort of detection over here, because there's really no reason not to, and it's just going to help to deny those kinds of drops so much easier. Still no third base, even though it's been safe to take one for at least 3 minutes now. Finally getting that down. That's good. Range is also quite late. We're not continuously upgrading this with this forge. This is, again, we could be denying this so much easier with warping, or with a observer back here. Ooh, that was a little sloppy. Gotta pay attention to the units that are attacking. Alright, let's see what's this observer see. Should be checking to see if he has a third at this point. And like I said before, the forge has to be constantly upgrading. It wasn't. It was kind of just sitting there doing nothing for a certain point in time. Probe count is at 58. That's definitely not enough. We need to be at least at 70 by 15 minutes. You can easily have that amount, especially since we didn't actually even like lose any to those drops. There's no reason to be behind in harvesters at this point. And we're still not making a fully. This isn't even making anything right now. Alright, so it looks like we're gonna have an engagement here. Alright, so let's see. He is way out supplying Uzman right here. Got 5 High Templar, 1, 2, 3, 4 Storms, only 2 Colossus. I think you should definitely be going up to 3 Colossus. That's a good switching point. Once you get to 3, then you can go over to High Templar. Alright, let's just see how this goes. 1 Storm, 2 Storm. That second Storm is a little whiffy. 3rd Storm is alright. Stalkers were not focusing down the Vikings at all. You need to be focusing Vikings down the entire time so that Colossi can do maximum amount of damage. There was also not a single warp in, I don't think, during that time. Maybe there was. Maybe that was the warp in right there. Let's see. Yeah, it was only just now that the warp in happened. It was only 4 units when there was more than 4 warp gates. That's another thing. He doesn't even have that many warp gates. I should be warping in constantly during the fight. You need to be getting reinforcements the entire time. And you need more gateways as well, because right now we only have 5. You should be if you're on 2 base, you should have at least 6. Yeah, you need at least 6 on 2 base, and we have 3 base right now as well, so we should be going up to 8 to 12 gateways. For the most part, I think that's pretty a normal amount. So, okay. Let's go back a second. Whoa. The fuck? The Colossus is like not there. That was weird. Alright, so he also has an upgrade advantage because we only have 1 forge. And I wasn't constantly upgrading. There's no reason to not get 2 forges anymore in PvT. There's really no reason. Unless you're going for like some super quick tech, like really fast Colossi, really fast Storm. There's no reason at all to not get 2 forges. You need 2 forges to stay up to beat with Terrans. They're doing a lot more greedy builds as well. They're doing like a lot of Terrans just do like a Widowmine drop, and then just go right into double eBay and go right into going into bio again. So they're getting their double eBay quite quickly now, and we need double forge to be able to keep up with that. And if we had double forge, we could easily have 2-2 by the time this fight was happening, and that's what he has as well. We could have definitely more than that if we had double forge earlier on as well, especially how early he got the first forge, and how he wasn't even using it at all for a good amount of time. So upgrades are definitely a huge part in PvT. He's up by 1 attack, and he's about to have 1 armor by the end of this as well. But during the entire fight, the Protoss was behind in upgrades, so that's definitely not going to do anything, especially when your army's already smaller than his. The upgrades are just going to make it 10 times worse. Alright, well 10 times is probably an exaggeration, but whatever. So at this point, it's pretty much over, especially since you only have 5 gateways. You don't, and he still has a bank. He can't spend that bank at all, and so he's just going to be struggling for absolutely everything. He lost his mothership core as well, so he can't fall back to an overcharge or something. And it looks like it's just going to kind of end here. Yeah, he's just going to kind of whittle him down as much as he can. Still not constantly upgrading as well, and not throwing down any other gateways, except for 2 more just now. So, yeah, the big things here are, in the beginning, we didn't do anything with an early forge. Where was that? So we got a really early forge, but didn't do anything with it. We got cannons, which were definitely unnecessary. Those could have been more chrono boosted probes. Early game really should be constant chrono boost on probes, and probes only for the most part. There shouldn't really be anything else being chrono boosted, except once the robo gets out. Then we want to chrono boost observers and colossi and whatnot. So we get this really early forge, but nothing gets done with it. Let's see how long it actually takes him. It finishes at 7 minutes. Let's see when he actually first starts an upgrade out of it. Wow. Bam. Alright, so it took him 3... Wait, he started at 7? Pretty much 2.5 minutes before that forge actually started upgrading anything. And if we look, the Terran, after opening Widowmine drop and Widowmine Hellion Marine drop, he already had his +1 started before us as well. So we could have 1-1 almost done if we had double forge at around the about around when the robo finishes. This robo bay is also really late, so pretty much everything just got delayed because I think Usman was scared of the Widowmine drop because he saw the factory early on, and so he probably was like, okay, he's gonna Widowmine drop me, so I have to prepare for that, get units out for that, and then thus he delayed his tech really a lot. So that's really bad. You have to be able to do both at once. The cannons are unnecessary. You really just need to rely. The mothership core allows you to do this greedy style that Protosses are doing so much now. So you have to rely. You have to use that to its fullest extent. Get overcharge. Use it to scout early on as well. That's a huge thing. You can use it to scout really early. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, and then just getting just the perfect amount of units, not making units to defend the Widowmine drops and whatnot, and just using mothership core and overcharge to do that, so that way you can still tech at about the same time as you normally would. So that was that. We definitely need at least a second one, at least when the first upgrade is finished. We need a second forge sometime. We can't not get a second forge. So tech was late, upgrades were late, third was also extremely late after we defended his push fairly easily. We could have perfectly just expanded. We even saw that he was just kind of sitting back, not doing anything really. And no reason to not be getting a third right now at all. This drop was also defended fairly easily, even though we didn't have detection, which we should. And then we just didn't really just get enough warp gates towards the end either. We need to make sure we have you should be getting, if you're third, actually this is a good point. This is something to kind of remember. If you, for whatever reason, can't get your third from 10 to 12 minutes, which is usually like about the time you would want a third, fill that gap with more gateways. So usually you'll have, you get like 6 gateways off 2 bases. You get the first initial 3, you get the 1 before the expansion, then you get the 2 extra afterwards. So we get 3. And then as you're getting ready for like the 10-minute timing for that Terrans usually push at, then you get the additional 3. He only actually got additional 2, so you should really be getting up to 3 by that time. So even then, his gateway count is kind of late in that regard. So you get up to 6, then you expand after the Terran does his little push or whatever. Or you can scout him, and if he went like a really fast third base, then you can go the really fast third base. But again, going back, if he doesn't allow you to get that third base, then fill it up with more gateways. Go up to like 8 gateways. Get 2 more gateways. and then so that way you're not like falling behind in any regard. So that way, if your economy is falling behind, at least your army isn't falling behind at the same time. So we need a lot more gateways. And so if we had more faster upgrades, if we had more gateways, then I think this final push would have gone much more Newsman's favor, especially since he had Storm. And yep, that's pretty much it. So thank you, Newsman, for submitting this replay. Hope you found this helpful. And I'll try to be getting a couple of these up a week. If you post in the thread, I apologize if I do not get to you. I can't really do too much of these, but the more replays that are submitted, the better. So it's always nice, and you can always submit them again the next week as well. So again, thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.